Hello everybody and welcome back. We are playing as Portugal in this beginner guide for complete beginners for Europa Universalis. And we have unpaused the game. Things are moving and grooving right now. And we're sort of working on getting some good trade from our node here from Seville. So we're getting some good trade. We are posturing for war against Morocco and Granada. We're getting some good spy networks there. We're very close to getting our relationships high enough with England and Castile to be able to get a mission done. One of the missions is to bolster our alliances and get trustworthy allies up to 150 opinion. We're very, very close to that. We have completed it looks like the heavy ship has just been built. So we now have a fourth heavy ship. That's going to be a little bit expensive. That's going to hurt the economy a little bit. But right now, as we're not paying for our troops, even when we pay for our troops, we're barely making a profit. But that is with one of our forts mothballed, right? We're not paying for this fort's garrison. So altogether, in war, we're going to be losing a little bit of money, but that's okay because we're building up a bankroll now to sort of prepare for that in the future. What is the benefit for the competitive advantage? We can get naval tradition and we can get diplomatic power. I think for the most part, we could just hit that button right away. This now gives us a thing to conquer Tangiers. And we have a claim on Tangiers. That's really good. So we might be able to do this soon. And it looks like after we do this, we'll actually get more claims on this area. We'll get more claims on this area for free. So that'll be exciting. So these are some special Portuguese missions that we have that we can follow here, even without DLC, right? We're not playing with any of the DLC. This is a beginner's guide for people with just the base game, and we're actually making things happen. It's awesome. France is actually ravaging England right now, but only on sort of the French provinces that England owns, right? They're not actually taking the fight to the British Isles. Looks like for the most part, England is going to defend the British Isles with a superior navy. One thing I was noticing here, it just caught my eye. Very subtle, not a big deal, guys, but I'm noticing that these ships right here are showing a blockade percentage. That implies there's a war going on right now. There is a war going on. Castile is at war. Holy cow. I'm just noticing that this was striped, right? This means that this province right here is occupied. This province is occupied. It's actually occupied by Navarra. Navarra and Castile are together on the march into Aragon. They're actually fighting a war with Aragon. What is the... so there's a few things going on. And I just noticed because there's a blockade going on right here, right? These galleys here are blockading some of Seville. This is really interesting. I wonder if this is actually... I wonder if by Aragon crippling Castile a little bit, if that's actually improving the amount of money we're making from trade. It actually does seem to be improving it a little bit. But it could also be that it's just weakening the trade value of the entire region, and that could be actually not good for us, right? I mean, ideally, trade is going to flourish when there's peace, not when there's war, although we're at peace right now. That is really exciting that Castile has attacked Aragon. This is really good because that's going to keep both of these nations in check. And it's also going to prevent Castile from actually aiming towards Morocco, aiming towards Tlemcen, because we want this land for ourselves. We don't want to compete with our ally Castile on this stuff. Yes, we're allied with Castile, but we're still looking out for number one. You know what I mean? We're still looking out for ourselves. We don't want Castile to be able to jump on top. We want to beat Castile de Granada if we can. It's a little gutsy, but that's what we're going to try to do. And it looks like these guys are actually at war with each other. This is awesome. But the thing is, what is the actual terms of this war? Who's declared on who? Who's allied to who? What is going on right here? What is going on right here? And the way that we can figure this out is we can go to the diplomatic map mode and click on these guys. Oh, is this mono-y-mono? This is literally just sort of a 1v1 war right here. And actually, it's interesting because Austria is allied to Aragon, but for some reason Austria is not in the war. What happened exactly? Is Austria in their own war? No, Austria's not in a war. What is going on here? Because I don't think Aragon would attack Castile like that. That's really gutsy. Castile is the defender against Aragon in the conquest of Navarra. Holy cow. Aragon is literally just direct declared war on Castile one-on-one? Wait a second. Why? I was going to say, why are we not defending Castile? Well, the reason why we're not defending Castile is because Aragon didn't declare on Castile. They declared on Navarra. So Aragon's swooping in to try to take Navarra. But the thing is, Castile was allied to Navarra. So that means Castile was called into the war to defend Navarra. And it looks like Castile is actually going to get the... Castile and Navarra are going to win this. Because, and here's the way that we can figure this out. We're going to have to do this for ourselves. Actually, I'll wait on that. I'll wait on how we figure out who's going to win this war. Of course, there's anything can happen, right? That's the thing. Anything can happen. You know, battles can go different ways depending on the tactics of the different AI and where they move their troops and stuff. Anything can happen here, but it does make sense to think that Castile plus Navarre will have a larger potential army than Aragon. But Aragon does have Naples too. So that is something to consider. If Naples can actually get an army over here, the thing is, are they going to have to march all the way across this way? Or are they going to be able to actually come in with transports and land on Aragon that way? I don't know. It's going to be a long time before Naples can get over there, but Naples is technically in the war as well against Castile. And it could be that Aragon is overvaluing the contribution of Naples. Because again, the AI is going to struggle. Naples is going to physically struggle to sort of navigate themselves around here. Ooh, guys, I just saw something insane. Holy cow. We have an amazing air. Holy cow. We have a 446. Remember how I said 6 was the highest? Our air is incredible. Our ruler's not so great, but our air is incredible. You know what we could do? We could actually sort of make our ruler into a general in hopes that they die. And actually hope that this guy dies so that the air can actually take over. That could be kind of a neat idea. The heir is 6 years old, so it'll be 9 years before they can actually take over. It'll be a while before the actual ruler dies, but one thing we can do is we can turn our ruler into a free general. We don't have to pay maintenance for this guy. We're just going to roll him and get him on the battlefield. And he's a 3-2-3-1. He's got a siege pip. That's actually going to be incredibly valuable. That's going to be very valuable. Okay, we can now declare war. Let's get another claim. We have 30 points actually with Granada. So let's get another claim on Granada. There was 2 different provinces that we could claim on Granada. Now we have claims on both of them. Looks good. And let's get another claim. Now that we have 25 with Morocco, we can get a second one on Morocco. And I think I will grab... we could grab... We're going to get these ones for free with the mission, right? The mission talks about giving these ones out to us for free as part of our national sort of just missions that we have. These ones here, what's this? Fez is their capital. Fez is a very particular and tricky province because it's a mountain fort. So it'd be kind of cool to claim this and then take this. But the thing is, Fez is a province that's it's a high development, so it's going to be very expensive to take that in a war. And I don't know if we're actually going to be able to get away with that. That'd be a very sort of bold move to go for Fez, go for the capital in Morocco. But you know what the heck, let's be bold. Let's get the claim on Morocco. I'm going to pull these guys back because, to be honest, we don't need really any more spy network with Granada. We've already kind of like maxed out on the claims we can get with Granada. And I think for the most part, we've got plenty against Morocco as well. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to butter up Castile because we're so close to getting that mission done. We only need to get to 150. I think we are at 158 with England, so we could actually pull England back soon. The other thing we could do is we have a lazy diplomat, so we could think about, oh, wait, this diplomat can be used to declare war. Right, we have to send a diplomat to let people know that, hey, we're going to war. And basically to do that, right, we could just click on whoever we want, whether we want to go to war with Tlemcen or Tunis. Actually, let's compare. What's the screen going to look like if we go to war against Tlemcen, and what's the screen going to look like if we go to war against Morocco? If we go to war against Morocco, we can just click on this. And sometimes this is just, you click on these buttons and you just kind of move around and click on some things and you see what's going on here. Now, it'd be cool if we could get Castile or England to help us with this war, but unfortunately, they just aren't going to do this because, quite honestly, Castile's already in a war. We might want to wait until Castile agrees to this, because right now they're just saying no. They usually, see, because if we look at this, they have attitude of a positive, they hate the enemy. So they have a positive reason to go to war against Morocco. They have a high trust with us, so they're willing to help us because we're just a trustworthy nation and they're trustworthy towards us. And we have a good diplomatic reputation. These are all reasons for Castile to go to war. But the number one reason why they will never join a war with us right now is because they are currently fighting in another war. So that makes sense, right? Castile is actively fighting a war against Aragon. They don't want to join a war against Morocco right now. And they have a little bit of war exhaustion too. But for the most part, if they weren't in the war against Aragon, they would join. They would accept this. England, similar reasons for England, right? England's in another war, but in fact, England's actually losing that other war. So England's got a bunch of negative modifiers here. They got occupied and besieged provinces. It's a distant war. They have war exhaustion. They have debt. There's so many reasons why England is not going to be helping us out at all anytime soon. And to be fair, they don't really care that much about Morocco, and it's just kind of far away, so they just do not care. They just do not care. It says over here that oh, that's right. Remember, Morocco has all these vassals. So all of those vassals will be called into the war because those are subjects of Morocco. So naturally, Morocco will fight with their vassals. But there's something that we can check out there. It's not quite as what it's not quite what it seems with these vassals. There could be something going on here internally for Morocco that might actually be sort of weakening Morocco's ability to control these vassals, and we'll check that out in a little bit. But they are allied to Granada, and it is giving us a check mark here to say that Granada will join the war. Granada will defend Morocco and fight alongside Morocco against us. So that means Granada's over here. They could actually sort of beeline it to our capital. There's a number of things that could sort of be going on here, to be honest. Tangiers has a fort. I just know that from experience, but if I go to the fort screen, we can look and see where the forts are. There's a couple in Granada, which is super annoying. And there's one in Fez, which is very annoying as well, because Fez is a mountain province. I mean, that's such a nasty place to have a fort for us to have to siege that. But Tangiers also has a fort. And the cool thing about Tangiers is they've garrisoned it. It's completely mothballed. It is completely mothballed. They're not paying for this, which means we could swoop in there and take their fort province without them even without having to siege it, because they're not maintaining it. It's not ready for war. It's not wartime ready. So that's really interesting. But we would be fighting a war against Morocco and Granada by ourselves. We could see exactly what the odds of that would look like. But the other thing to look at here, right, in terms of just looking at the enemy allies and the called allies, is the fact that we do have these casus bellis, right? These are the reasons to go to war. If we don't have a reason to go to war, then we take a lot of negative modifiers from this, and we can show you what that. It's easy to show what that looks like by, let's say, declaring war on Tlemcen. If we declare war on Tlemcen, we have no casus belli. We're going to lose stability. Our own people are going to be like, what the heck? Why are you declaring war against Tlemcen? We have no reason to go to war against Tlemcen. Our own people are going to rebel. That's represented by the stability loss, right? We talked about how stability is just really good for keeping a nice, unified, friendly, peaceful country and making it prosper economically. Lowering our stability by 2, going into the negative stability, is going to be detrimental. And then also, we're going to get a significant amount of aggressive expansion. We're just a complete warmonger. There's no justification for a war against Tlemcen. Everybody around us is going to be pissed because we just went to war with someone with no reason. Like, we had no reason for it, right? Same with Tunis. We have no... actually, no, Tunis we do have a reason because they're a rival. See, remember how I said earlier, rivaling people is good because it gives you a reason to go to war? We always have a standing reason to go to war with Tunis just because... they're a rival. We just hate them. They hate us. We just like to sort of skirmish with each other and just beat each other up a little bit. Tunis actually is allied to Fezzan and Granada as well. The thing about this, though, is that in a humiliation war, this is a humiliate rival casus belli. So we can go and beat them up and steal their money and stuff like that and humiliate them, but we cannot take land. This does not allow the conquest of provinces. So that's a different kind of war, right? So the kind of war you declare on a country is very important, right? We don't want to humiliate them. We actually want to conquest them. But we have reasons to conquest them. We have a claim for Fez, and we have a claim for Tangiers. In fact, we have a mission for Tangiers. It is our destiny to take Tangiers. Alternatively, we can look and see what the situation is if we attack Granada, declare war. We have a truce with Granada, even worse, right? We're even worse modifiers. We're going to get 125 aggressive expansion. Wowzers, that's big. There's gonna be a huge potential coalition against us. All of North Africa is gonna want a coalition against us if we break this truce with Granada. That's even worse than just declaring on someone with no reason for war, but breaking an actual truce. That's not good. We'd lose 5 stability. We'd be at -3 stability. That'd be horrible. They are allied with Morocco and Tunis. So that's actually a little bit worse, right? Because that would be Morocco's vassals, Tunis, and Granada. That's actually significantly worse than just attacking Morocco, to be honest. Just attacking Morocco is less, but there's still a lot here, and we can actually try and evaluate. I think the last thing we want to do in this episode is just kind of take a moment and try to figure out, what's our situation? What if we actually did attack Morocco? What would that mean? What would our odds be of winning that war? How do we figure that out? You know, we're just going blind right now. This is all fog of war, right? Well, kind of yes and kind of no. There is a tool in the game called the ledger. And if you go to the bottom right here and we open up the ledger, this is incredibly valuable. This represents the idea that there's a lot of people, traders that are moving between countries, spies that are moving between countries, information that's being shared all the time. Basically, what I'm saying is with the ledger, we can actually look up country stats. We can look up stats of our rivals, anyone in the known world, right? We can look up anyone in the known world. We can go to armies here, and we can organize by largest force limit. We can see Austria has the largest force limit in the world. They only have 18,000 standing army, but they can build up to 50,000. That's because they're the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. We haven't talked about that much, but that's a big deal. England here has 40,000 standing army, 40,000 force limit. In fact, England has a larger army than France. The problem with England is they don't have they have a good navy, but they don't have a large enough navy to transport those guys to France safely enough. So most of these 40,000 are just sort of sitting here, up here doing nothing. And while they are controlling the seas, they can't actually do an amphibious assault that's significant enough because France is literally defending against that amphibious assault with all of their allies, like Genoa's over here defending, Provence is over here defending. They're literally defending against sort of a D-Day invasion, basically, in 1447. So if we go back to this, we can see that there's tons of really good stats here about army size, right? We can actually search by our rivals. Or we could just type up here and just type in Morocco. And we can see Morocco has 12,000 troops. We have significantly more than that. We have 18,000. Why does it say our force limit is 17 though? Our force limit should be 18, is that a little bug? That might be a little bug. No, actually we've lost force limit. You know why we lost force limit? Because of that event in Ceuta, right? We raised autonomy in Ceuta, and that actually reduced our force limit. Because autonomy, we're getting force limit based on a certain equilibrium of autonomy, and when we raised that autonomy, we actually got a lower force limit. Ceuta is no longer contributing a potential force limit to our army. That's actually kind of funny. But that's okay. We're over our force limit. That's fine. We don't crumble or we don't die or anything like that. We just pay a penalty on that, right? We're paying 0.32 because we're over our force limit. That's money we shouldn't be spending. So that is bad because that's expensive. That's extra cost that we don't have to pay. Usually a troop only costs us 0.21 per month. We're paying a significant premium to go over that force limit. A significant premium. But that's okay. We'll be okay. And if we're going to go to war, and we might actually want to go above our force limit while we're at war, right? To sort of even go beyond sort of our potential so that we can win a decisive war. And that, even if that sort of stifles our economy during war, which it does, right? War is not good for your economy. But eventually winning a big war could actually sort of bolster your economy in the long term, right? If we look at our rivals here, we have Granada has 8,000 troops. Morocco has 12,000, but remember that's deceptive because Morocco does have vassals. So together, Morocco plus Granada is 20,000, but they're not unified. Morocco might also be able to build up to their force limit of 18,000. So we're actually outnumbered here. No matter how you slice it, we are outnumbered. It would be really nice if we could call in Castile. The other thing I want to sort of look at, though, is we could actually search for the vassals of Morocco, right? One of them is named Sus. So Sus is got 5,000 troops. We could look up Marrakesh. They have 3,000 troops. They can build up to 4. So that's 4 plus 5. That's 9,000 troops. And then Tafi Lalt. I don't know how to say that. It's 5,000 more troops. So 5,000 plus 5,000 plus 4,000, that's 14,000 plus 8,000 plus 12,000, potentially more, right? So this is unfortunately not a winning war, right? We can't just go mano a mano against Morocco, let alone Morocco plus Granada. If we had Castile, right? If we had Castile's 30,000 troops, we could go here and we could look at our ally strengths. Unclear the search there. And we can see that Castile has 25,000 troops. They're in a war right now, so that's going to get cut down a bit, right? But they have 25,000 troops at the moment. If we added those 25,000, we'd decisively have victory within our grasp. Now, here's the thing, though. Subjects do follow their overlords to war, right? A subject does not have a choice. They have to defend their overlord, but they don't have to do it well. And what I mean by that is if these subjects are disloyal, they will not fight. They will basically just idle back here and just be lazy and hide, essentially. And if they're over, and we can check that by going to their liberty desire. When we click on these different subjects, we can see that they're all vassals of Morocco, right? We can click on them, vassals of Morocco. But if they're above 50% liberty desire, this is a scale between 0% liberty desire and 100%. At 100%, boom, they're ready to rebel. They're straight up going to war with Morocco at 100% for their own independence, right? For their own freedom. But at 45%, they're actually, this guy's loyal. Marrakesh is loyal. Sus, though, at 52% is not. They are disloyal, but 52% is right on that line. If Morocco builds some more troops, they could actually push that down, right? Because what these nations are doing is they're comparing their own military strength combined against Morocco. They're thinking, hey, if we combined all of our troops, can we rise up against our overlord together? The truth is, right now they can, right? Because they got 5,000 plus 5,000 plus 4,000. The subjects have a larger standing army than Morocco. That makes them think that they can challenge Morocco. But if Morocco builds 6,000 more troops when we start war with them, right? Then they're going to basically say, okay, Morocco is stronger than we thought, and their liberty desire is actually going to go down. Flip side is, if we actually beat up on Morocco, if we win a decisive battle against Morocco, we demoralize Morocco, and we take a few things, and the war turns in our favor, these subjects are actually going to feel like, hey, Morocco's weak. Morocco's weak, and they're vulnerable, and we don't want to help them. We don't want to send our people to die. Morocco's losing the war. If we can actually land some decisive blows against Morocco, we could still win this war. This would be a challenging war, especially for a new player. This would be a very challenging war. But it is possible to win this. Just because we could neutralize these vassals by neutralizing Morocco, and we could probably try to prevent Granada from even getting across here, and they might just come over to Lisboa and just sit here for a long time. It might take them a long time to siege Lisboa, because that is a fort, so it'll take years for them to siege that out. So we could try to land a decisive blow against Morocco, and once we take out Morocco, then we could swing back up and take out Granada. But it all would rely on a certain level of luck, to be completely honest with you. It would be balancing on a tightrope for sure. But it looks like that this vassal also is disloyal at the moment. So we have two of these guys are disloyal. One of them is barely loyal, but these guys are also barely disloyal. So it's all very teetering, right? It's all very teetering. In fact, there's actually a positive modifier that if they're all in war together, they'll be happier with each other. So if we do declare war on Morocco, it's likely that these guys right here will actually feel a little bit of allegiance to Morocco, and they'll probably be a little bit more loyal. Like I said, though, if we win a key battle against Morocco early on, we can make them disloyal again, but we don't know where the Moroccan troops are. We don't know if they're down here. We don't know if they're up here. We don't know where they are. We know they have 12,000 of them, but we don't know where. We don't know where, and we don't know if they would actually want to engage us or if they would try to avoid us. They might actually hide for a while, build up their strength, and then attack together, which would be a huge problem. So what we might do is we might just let Castile finish this war, win this war, and then call them in and bring them into a war on our terms with Castile fighting with us. That could be really, really good. In fact, the other thing to consider too here is that the truce with Granada is about to end, which is only significant because now if we tag Granada, we also call in Tunis, which is bad, right? So that's even, what is that, like 12,000 more troops that we'd be fighting against? The good thing about Granada, though, is that they're kind of isolated, so we could actually sort of reposition our troops in a way that we could just sort of wipe out Granada and just sort of like defend against the onslaught of Tunis and Morocco, and just sort of play a more defensive game against them while we siege out Granada. That could be a different way to look at it. And if we had Castile, maybe we could do Granada even with Castile, because Castile would give us those extra numbers to sort of suppress back Tunis. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what the plan's going to be, but that's the thing. You got to look for the weakest link. You got to look for the right opportunity, and you got to sort of shake out how those alliance networks are going to fall. But it looks like for the most part, that was a good episode. We've assessed the situation between us and Morocco. We're not going to be able to attack Morocco right now. It would be a very risky war to declare on Morocco right now. We didn't even compare navies, but in all likelihood, our navy is probably comparable to Morocco's as well, if our army is slightly weaker. So we're going to need Castile. Now, the good thing is Castile's winning their war. Like, they are winning their war against Aragon, so hopefully they'll just be able to beat up Aragon really quick in the next few years, and then we'll pull them into Morocco. We'll keep an eye on that. And hopefully we'll be going to war with Morocco in the next episode, but we've at least sort of discovered the ledger, which is incredibly valuable to be able to look this stuff up to make decisions about when to attack and where to attack and who to attack. So thank you everybody for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode, where hopefully we will get Castile to join us in an aggressive war against Morocco and Grenada. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.